What do you guys do?
We're entrepreneurs.
Hello, welcome to Premier Scene. I'm Claire Bueno as we attend the world premiere of Plastic.
We can't keep living like this. We need an inside man.
I'm a data processor for a credit card company.
Frankie's finding us overseas customers. So where are we going?
So this is a very different kind of story that we've seen you in before. So is that the attraction?
Massively, it is different. It's exciting. I mean, I'm so glad to be here. This was a really fun experience shooting, and I did it a while ago, but it's nice to see it get recognition now, and for people to be sporting it. It's great. People to be out here in the cold. It's wicked. We appreciate it.
And one of the themes in the film seems to be greed. So for you as an actor, is that an interesting thing to explore?
What you mean in terms of sort of money being an impetus, or? Yeah, I mean, I suppose for some people it is. I don't have any kind of personal experience with that at all. But what I can relate to, having been a student until only recently, was how little opportunity there is once you come out of university and you get a degree, and you can put in a lot of hard work and you can make a huge financial investment given your age and the fact you haven't got an income, and actually not get any return out of it. I know people who came out of university with top draw degrees in what are considered top draw universities, and they weren't sort of, I think, rewarded for that. And so this film comments on the sort of potential initiative that one can take in that situation. And we're not endorsing criminal activity, but we are sort of drawing attention to the fact that might occur.
We've met before actually at Fright Fest. It was A Lonely Place to Die.
Just over there. Oh yeah, that was good fun, wasn't it?
It was a good film.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
Last time we spoke there, actually, you spoke about being a method director. So I'm just wondering what you might have had to have done to prep yourself for this.
A lot less in that respect. I'll tell you what I didn't do in this film. I didn't go to Miami and snort up half of Bolivia. That's not a very good idea. So we didn't go method in that respect. In a lot of ways, this film was a lot more technically easier, I suppose. I mean, because, in the Lonely Place to Die, you're on a cliff face for like half of it and everything else, and you're in sort of various terrain. This was Miami Beach and being able to be in the helicopter and swoop over everything. It was method directing. No, it was more actually just sitting down with the actors in a group and just workshopping, and talking about your experiences, my experiences, etc., etc. I think that's about as method as I'd like to go on this film, definitely. Yeah.
It seems very much like an ensemble. This cast.
Yeah. No. Definitely. I mean, and it was very important, casting-wise, what I call the big five, and we were just so lucky in the end. It all seemed to gel so nicely. I mean, I keep saying it, but we were just really lucky, and they seemed to get on really well. And then we did wonderful rehearsals, freezing in London in December, and then we go out to Miami in January and start shooting, and a lot of fun.
Now you're working with Julian again.
Yes.
How's that collaboration? It kind of feels like the Steve McQueen, Michael Fassbender. A nice partnership.
It's a nice part. It's a nice partnership. It's been interesting working with him for sort of on and off the last 3 or 4 years.
And this is based on a true story. So how much of the original story did you have to research to better inform you for this?
Well, I spent a little bit of time with Saq. I spent a little time with Saq, but because a lot of the story is actually at the same time quite different, it was quite hard. I didn't want to sort of overcomplicate it with. The script is quite different to a lot of the truth there. So.
And last time that we saw you, you were rock climbing in Scotland, and now you're moving to Miami. So what was that like compared?
Yeah, amazing. I still love the rock climbing. I was up in Wales this morning up a mountain. So I'm kind of still enjoying all of that. But yeah, I mean, I'm very lucky to do what I do and get a chance to sort of go to some lovely places. Miami being one of them.
5 cards, all linked to big spenders who hit Miami at least 3 times a year.
And we are aiming to take him for every penny.
I want my money. 2 million. You pay in 2 weeks, all of it.
Doesn't seem very reasonable.
Out there, in the darkness. That's unreasonable.
I love your beard.
Thank you, sweetie.
Is this a part or a
Yeah. I've kind of ended up. The last 3 or 4 jobs I've done have required me to have a beard, and so as I've finished each one, thinking that I might get rid of it, it stays. I can never get rid of it. So I've actually forgotten what I look like without a beard. It's quite sad. Yeah.
And this plastic, what was it? What was it that kind of resonated with you? I suppose. What was it about the story?
Oh, no, I tell you what. Apart from the fact that it's based on a true story, it's the chance to play someone who's a bit of a chump, really. I mean, he really just gets turned over in the most wonderful way. And, you know, everyone keeps saying, oh, you're the bad guy, you're a bad guy. And I'm not the bad guy, I'm the victim. You know, how have I ended up being the bad guy? So I thought this was actually an opportunity not to be the bad guy. So it shows what I know.
And they always say that it's not for an actor to make a judgment call, don't they, on the part that they're playing?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No. You can't see anybody you play as bad. You just have to look at them and find the qualities that you want to bring out, rather than the fact that you might murder people or whatever. And I've done a bit of that, you know.
And you're working as well with a great new kind of rising talent.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everybody, all the youngsters involved as well, are fantastic. But I was saying to somebody earlier that the great thing about this business is that you end up never feeling that you're getting older, because you're constantly working with people younger than you. So you delusionally go along thinking, I've never grown old. Until you look in the mirror next to them, of course. You see Will Poulter staring back at you, who's like 12 or something.
He seems to get younger and younger.
I know, it's appalling.
You're playing the part of Rafa. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you liked about playing him?
I can. What I really like about Rafa is that he's got like not that the rest of them are heartless, but he's got a real heart, you know, and he's kind of like, I think his story, his arc, which is what they say apparently, it's the word I'm supposed to use, is very, very sad, you know, it's kind of a sad story, it's the most real of all the stories, and so that's what attracted me to the part, and that's what I enjoyed about him.
And as the story as a whole, what was it that you thought, my God, I have to do this film?
Well, I think really what it was about was that it's so relevant to young people, because you know what, I'm a young kid in London, and it's impossible to get a mortgage. It's impossible. Like, if you go and do a degree and you get your first from Oxford, still you don't get that job. You know what I mean? So it's like a never-ending circle. I really don't believe that it's like it was in the 80s when I wasn't around, admittedly. But I think it was easier, you know, and people could kind of work their way up the ladder and whatever. Now it's like a nightmare, you know?
And this film...
It's relevant. That's what's important.
And the film as well feels very much like an ensemble piece. Is that what it felt like working on set?
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to get like four boys is always a nice vibe. I'm sure 4 girls, I'm not a girl, so I can't say, but it's 4 people who can come together on like a level and be like kind of laddie. It's always, you know, it's like one of the great kind of ensemble type casts, because it doesn't get better than that. It's like you become, because you're so intense as well, that you become like sort of like very brotherly.
The other thing about this film that strikes me is that with it being British made, it's also very kind of polished. We tend to make a lot of gritty films here, and do you think the fact that it is more kind of glamorised, it makes it more attractive to audience?
Yeah, I think it was a very conscious decision on the part of Julian and the other producing people involved to give it that gloss, to really make it look that sort of nice international feel, because there's, you know, I love that kind of urban gritty British drama, but this is much more in the sort of Hollywood vein, and that's why when it goes to Miami, it just looks incredible. It really does, that contrast, fantastic.
Can you tell us what attracted you to the role in the first place?
Well, I've kind of always wanted to work with Julian Gilbey ever since I saw Rolling with the Nines and Rise of the Foot Soldiers. So when my agent sent the script over and I read it, you know, it just sounded great. And then finding out that it's going to be shot in Miami, especially my scenes, and I've never been to Miami before, so I was very keen on doing the project, yeah.
And we hear that you've got a bit of a love interest going on as well.
Well, my character's slightly simple, you know, it's a bit kind of, you know, out of the box, and he kind of has a bit of a fascination for Frankie, played by Emma Rigby. So, yeah, there's a couple of nice scenes that you'll see, hopefully, if it hasn't been cut. But yeah, it's all that going on, yeah.
And what did you take away with you from working on the film?
Well, I mean, it kind of like, for me, it kind of confirmed that, you know, I think Julian's a very talented director, you know, and his brother as well, a very good writer. And yeah, I mean, some of the stunts that we did was quite demanding, but you know, it seemed to look good. It looks good on the trailer, so I'm really looking forward to seeing it. There's a bit where I fly out through a window 2 stories down, so it'd be interesting to see that. You know, I survived it just about, but yeah, I mean, other than that, I like the idea of working out in the States now, to be honest with you, and I'm kind of like pursuing that a bit more.
There's only one way to do it. We hunt the big fish. We're going to take them for $20 million without even using a gun. It could set us up for life.
Congratulations with another great film.
See ya.
Nice
How
to
are
see
you?
you, Terry.
This
Very
is
well.
Chris.
Hello,
Hi,
Chris.
nice to
Claire,
see
very
you.
pleased to meet you.
He was my partner in crime on this one.
Well, it seems like a great story that you've got to tell, really. One you can't.
Story.
And it's a true one.
Yeah, it's inspired by a true story. We've put a lot of vignettes into the story to make it cinematic, but it sticks to the core of the story, which was really all about a guy who I knew back in Manchester who, you know, pulled off an amazing heist. He infiltrated one of the major credit card centres of a major credit card company, and the rest, as they say, is history. I mean, he did 3 years for it. He's a reformed character, he tells me. We didn't trust him with the expenses, though, did we, Terry?
No, we vetted his expenses, and if we went out for dinner, we sort of went like that with the credit card, you know, under the table, you know.
Definitely didn't give him the credit.
He kept asking for their names and addresses and their mother's maiden name. I don't know why.
Well, you know, the film's been really about 12 years in the making since I had the original idea, because I knew the story from my Manchester background, and I put pen to paper actually in 2001. I had hair then, but
now and I don't know if the lack of hair is when he met me or what.
It's not helped, Terry. It's not helped.
You've got an incredible cast here as well.
I mean, really good. I mean, we're very lucky that we cast it right and we had the right people in, you know. So
Terry deserves a lot of credit for that. You know, I think he's spotted some great talent here, and every time we sort of turn a page in a newspaper or a magazine, we've seen the cast go from strength to strength. We look at, you know, the guys like Emma is busy. Will's won the BAFTA. I mean, he had a great role in We're the Millers. His career's just flown. So I think Terry, actually, when we filmed this in 2013, January, I think Terry just had a vision of where these guys would end up.
Yeah.
And also the long relationship that you've had with the director as well, Julian.
Yeah, well, I've done, it's their third film, yeah. So, done 3 films together now.
Good working relationship still.
Yeah, really good, yeah. I mean, we haven't killed him yet, but I mean, there's still time.
And the one thing I should say is that, you know, Julian and his brother William, you know, really added to the script as we took it to final shooting script. They've made a lot of great changes and had a lot of good ideas, and I think they've made the film probably 30-40% better.
This is a big evening for you. This is a film of your story.
Well, yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, but I'm sure I'll have bigger events hopefully one day. Yeah.
So how were you first approached that they wanted to make a movie of the heist that you did?
Well, it was in Manchester. Basically, I go to the gym, as you can see, I work out, and there was a lady there who's the sister-in-law of one of Gateway Films, Chris Howard, and that's basically how it happened. She was speaking to him. He had a script. Probably wasn't even any good without my story, but he had a script, you know, and she said, look, what about the kid from Manchester? He did a diamond heist. Basically, there was a documentary made on me on Channel 4. It was called The Art of Crime, and he watched that, and it was just like, you know, I think he just pursued me then. You know?
Were you concerned that perhaps that your story could have been misrepresented in film because there has to be so much left to artistic interpretation?
Well, when you watch the film, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, I think to make a film, there's got to be different aspects. So, you know, at the end of the day, I'm not going to tell the producers what to do or the directors, you know. But when I watched it, to be honest with you, it's a good British film. Everyone should go and watch it, honestly.
And there's a great cast as well, isn't there? Up and coming, rising British talent.
Yeah, Will Poulter, he's just won a BAFTA. You know, you've got Ed Speleers, he's doing really well in America. Sebastian De Souza, what a good-looking kid. Emma Rigby, God, you know, if I was 10 years younger, you know.
Let's go.
How much can we make?
No limit.